Hello folks, well this is Miguel from the Embargo Man channel. As with my last video I said I was wrong. I was reminding them in the video that the NFL will be the #2 league in North America. I was referring to Super Bowl 55 and Super Bowl 53. Alright, so watch the video. Sorry that I mislead you guys through Super Bowl 43 and 45 to Super Bowl 53 and 55, right? So, wonder that I make this video is all of you that I will tell you this. This is why baseball is falling in popularity in the United States of America. I'm in Colombia right now. And let me tell you what. I mean, the new #1 sport in a few years is not gonna be basketball. It's not gonna be basketball, all right? So all you MLB fans, baseball, diehard baseball fans right there, there's a solution that you could set, and I said it before. You could run for president of the United States and make soccer illegal. All right? Yes. I mean, this is where I'm gonna catch on with all you guys. This is the debate or say the debate of all this, right? The reason why I made this to say to you that the video is about the NFL going to the #2 spot in North America, and baseball is losing popularity in the USA because the only sport that I'm going to tell you is one thing. All right, so MLB will have its worst years for the next 2 years. 2026 will be the worst year for the MLB. And what's going on right there is that you might love, everybody wants their sport to be #1. And for all of suddenly, not just #1 in the world, but #1 in the country you resides to. Alright, if you want to protect the sport to be #1, and that's for you baseball fans right there, you have to go all the way to Asia. And I tell you why, the reason why you have to go in that region. Alright, so you go to that region, then you'll be saying, I could tell you the expansion of every sport that wants to gain global fans. And to gain global fans is that times change. At one time, America's pastime, the one that you have love and so much, you still have love for the game. You have love for the sport. Some people think it's boring. I think it's interesting to watch it. It is one, compared to the #2 sport in the world that is so similar. What is the catch with that? I don't find anything interesting with cricket. All right, so this one is more exciting, and you try to defend it, right? So what it is with this, that the MLB that have been there in the USA forever, it expanded to Canada. It's going to be. We're going to be that even Montreal has a chance to get their team back. Is all because I'm going to tell you that this would go in both ways to tell you one thing. Keep supporting your sport, even if it's not the #1 in the United States. All right, so that would be that Babe Ruth back in the day. He was like the Michael Jordan of that era, right? So he's the Michael Jordan of that era, right? So here we go again with the logic. I'm talking about the past. The past has been done. You Red Sox fans right there, look, I do like the Yankees though. But to save all this, all the World Series titles is thanks to one man who was a Michael Jordan of his time, known as Babe Ruth. Right? So, to say all this is to, you cannot tell people or obligate to, okay, you need to, why is going down? Why is the audience are not showing up at MLB games? Everything changing, faster game, a clock, and all that stuff can't even hold a candle to the next sport that is growing in popularity. It is very popular in the rest of the world and certain regions of the world, including in Europe, and you cannot tell the fans, oh, why the hell you don't go to a baseball game or whatever, or you're gonna see empty stadiums, right? And let me tell you some news flash for you. 2026 will be the worst year for the MLB, because the first thing what's going to happen is going to fit with Mid-East politics involved with sports. Mid-East politics, baseball, cheering for somebody getting away with murder. I mean, if you boo for somebody getting away with murder at a baseball game, you are going to be called a Jew hater. And that's how it goes. All this messed up things going on right now. But hey, it's not the number one sport in the US. Well, but it's the number one or number two sport in certain countries, right? So it is to the market that I'm gonna tell you all guys that all this, and especially is this, if you're a fan of other sports and whatever, if you're from American football, great. If you're a soccer fan, known as football in this country, I'm in Colombia right now, then you'll be proud of watching this video as of my previous video. Basketball fans, not to worry, and I gotta tell you all that much for hockey. Okay, it might be the number one sport in Canada, but it might also gonna be slipped to number two also. The number two sport in Canada, and it's going to be replaced by football, international football. That is, I know it. It's called soccer. That'll be number one and number two. But let me tell you all of this. Why is this? Why in the world is baseball is falling behind in the United States of America, in the USA? For all these reasons why, let me tell you the number one reason that had happened at a time when the Marlins play, and there was an exhibition game of two Spanish teams from the Spanish league, two soccer teams, two football teams in what is called internationally. And what were the people done? They went to that game, and almost nobody showed up at the Marlins game. That's how the sport of football, what is called internationally, known as soccer, has been growing within the popularity of the United States, that it could even surpass the NFL, right? So that's how it is. And just to finish all with the baseball topic, all right? I'll tell you one thing. You want to save baseball? You could tell the president, the guy who's running for president of the United States, you could tell whoever might be in the Republican, running as a Republican, to tell them that you want to save baseball to make soccer illegal in the United States of America. You could, or you could run and say you want to plan this, you want to save baseball, then you got to have plans to talk to Congress to illegalize soccer in the United States of America. Why? It is to your plans and ambitions to save the game of baseball. Yeah, so you want fans to go to the baseball game, right? Your idea is, if you're president, if you're thinking of running for president of the United States of America, going and live in Washington, D.C., you write to Congress and you tell, you know what, let's save baseball, let's make soccer, internationally known as football, that sport to be illegal in the United States of America. That, my friends, for all you that you want to save baseball and your plans to do there's just one reason to why you have to make soccer illegal in the United States of America is to bring back the baseball fans. That has to be very harsh for some people. Or you may just want to, okay, just go to a soccer game, all right? Just go to one soccer game. Even if you're going outside the U.S. at a soccer crazed country. And then I have to tell you about the sport that you need to plan. If you have the idea to save baseball, that you have to illegalize it in the United States, would be, let me tell you all of this of the sport, all right? Very popular sport in most of the countries around the world. In Africa, in Europe, parts of Latin America, and Asia, right? Same like it is. It is number 2 in Japan, though. But you know, one thing is that the U.S. soccer players, they just go play in England. They go play in Germany, in the Netherlands. They played outside the U.S. because it's paid more and there's more people going to soccer games, aka football, what it's called here and in the rest of the world. Right? So that is that. Some of you diehard baseball fans, that's the sport that you might plan to save baseball, is to illegalize that sport in the United States. But there is a catch. The MLS will move to Canada. Hockey will be number 2, but baseball will be in the 3rd spot, you know? Or whatever that happens, the NFL would be top sport, and then I have to tell you all this. The reason why is not, it is like it's same. It had been surpassed by basketball when Michael Jordan played, even though it was catching on going against basketball during the steroid era. People get caught. The steroid era returns, but putting on Mideast politics with the Holy Land situation would suffer for the MLB. 2024 is another bad year for MLB. 2026 will be the worst year for the MLB, because I could tell you all this. Keep supporting your baseball team. Keep supporting the Yankees. Keep supporting the Red Sox. Keep supporting whatever team you cheer or where you live. It's still going to be around, but it's not going to be very popular like it is back then, 100 plus years ago or 50 years ago or whatever. right? It's not gonna be the same flair, all right? So what Michael Jordan did. It is making baseball a run for its money. Baseball is still strong, but then what it's going to do, and to the NHL fans or hockey fans, all right, still going to be number one in Canada, but it's going to slip in the number two spot because I'm going to tell you American football is next because I'm just following all this, all right? So, like it is, talking about this, there were 70,000 people. I mean, the lowest audience with 24,000 something people was the Super Bowl 55, and that was due to COVID, right? I was saying about, not confusing with 45, but I'm going to say 55. Super Bowl 53, there were 70,000 people in Atlanta, Georgia. The Patriots won. But there were 73 plus thousand people at the MLS Cup final, more than the Super Bowl, right? This is showing signs that the NFL is going to slip to second place, right? Why is going to slip to second place? Because the sport, for you baseball fans right there, is gonna go to number 4. It's gonna go to number 4 because after the World Cup, after the FIFA World Cup, and after all this, you can have all the World Baseball Classics all you want, but it's not gonna be big as the FIFA World Cup, and I'm not gonna tell you the reason why. The reason why is that once you experience about 2026 is going to be the worst year, the worst decline in attendance in baseball history in 2026. Basketball, I could remember when Lionel Messi played. Lionel Messi is the modern day Michael Jordan, all right? Let me tell you why even though Pele will always be the Michael Jordan of international football, aka the Michael Jordan of soccer, right? I mean, Lionel is bigger than LeBron, all right? But he is the modern day Michael Jordan at this time. When he entered Inter Miami, it's another sport, basketball. What is number 2 in the United States right now, going to number 3? It showed signs that basketball is slipping to the 3rd place thanks to Lionel Messi and what he did for the sports to attract people. Why? He won the World Cup in Qatar. Even though he said a lot of stuff, call the Dutch people that are like a bunch of idiots. Hey, you idiot! What you looking at, you idiot, and whatever. But hey, everybody makes mistakes, and you have Otani in baseball, where it's going to 4th place. Then it's going to be like, yeah, this the league that he is helping out. He is helping out in everything. Lionel Messi is helping Miami to bring it back popularity. But this is just, let's say, Instagram back in the 1990s. You have the Chicago Bulls having enough followers as to translate to today. Inter Miami, because of Lionel Messi. The same what that happened with Michael Jordan in the Chicago Bulls back in the day, right? So this all it is the demographics change, that you have all these teams. I mean, I wish that the NBA could soon have, move around teams and move teams to wherever it goes. An NBA franchise in Pittsburgh would be okay. And not suddenly Seattle having their Sonics back. What the NFL is doing, NFL is going to be strong. Let me tell you why. The NFL has been there for like 80 something years or more, even though that's the next oldest league, the youngest of all. The youngest is going to be the MLS, right? So NHL's there, and I don't know how long it is. The NBA, and whatever it is. And to all you basketball fans right there, you wish you could like it. You still support your sport. Everybody wants their sport to be number one. And all suddenly, I could tell you of all things, to defeat, to break the record of Super Bowl 55 is going to take a chance that when the day, if a promotional soccer game, or when the MLS seasons begin during the day of the Super Bowl at the same town, at the same place, what's going to happen is that it's going to draw that Super Bowl with 900 or less people attending the Super Bowl versus the first season of an MLS game or a exhibition soccer game. Could be from Premier or could be from the Spanish League or whatever it is, right? So that's how it's going to end up that way, and that's how it's gonna go, right? So hold on, people. And the NFL, well, it is exciting to watch, even though it has concussions and whatever. American football has its problems, right? But no sport is perfect with their injuries, all right? And talking about the Super Bowl, everybody watched the Super Bowl. It is the number one sporting event in the United States of America. You know, and that is one of the ways that you say, oh, that everybody wants to see their top football teams. And I wish that Miami went to the Super Bowl. It sucks that it have never went there. And oh boy. And there's just a bunch of people with their dumb ideas. I remember when the NFL tried to expand. When they're trying to expand, most likely they have NFL Europe, and that thing, it was folded off. The same thing it is, NFL would acquire the UFL. UFL and XFL have merged, and then the accusation will be called the UFL. Is not going to be that what was going to happen in the next few years for all you football fans, that the UFL will be acquired by the NFL. We'll have a 40-team NFL league, but it's not going to hold a candle to the next league that I'm going to talking about. And there is just why the Super Bowl 53 was showing signs that the NFL will become number two. All right, why the NFL will become number two. And there's one reason why. All right, so to say all this, and to the baseball fans too, if you see less people at a baseball game in a couple of years, and you see more people at the next sport that is going to put them in fourth place, then okay, go ahead. Go to an NFL game, go to an NBA game, or go to a soccer game. Well, that's it. Go to a soccer game. That sport is going to be number one in the United States in less than 5 years. And I could tell you what, for all this, and what you have in there is 2024. You have 2 years more for the worst season in MLB history that is going on. And what it is, don't worry about it, all right? Support your sport, even if it's going to slip in fourth place, and not have the ideas to say, oh, I'm going to write to Donald Trump or whoever is going to be president to say to make soccer illegal to play in the United States, or you want to have the idea, if I run for president of the United States, I'm going to make soccer illegal to play in the United States to save baseball. There is the reason why baseball's number one enemy. Baseball's number one enemy is soccer. No doubt about it. Soccer, international football, is baseball's number one enemy in America. Yeah, that's the reason why. And so as it is, you know, you have your fair share of baseball fans in Montreal. I mean, Messi is helping with that. Messi playing in Miami, and it was just saying empty ballparks with baseball game in session is, yes, Messi is going there. He is helping to lead the way for the Montreal to get the Expos back, right? That's the truth. And I tell you why it's the truth, because it's happening, right? The writing is on the wall. Montreal Expos started in Miami, Florida as the Marlins, and they go back to Montreal thanks to Lionel Messi. And that's the reason why, right? So it's the truth. It's happening. It's going on. And what's going on that one of these days they're going to tell you to reach back to this, and NHL's going to be in fifth place. I mean, number one. I tell you number one, but I'm going to tell you for the number one league in North America, and the next number one sport in North America is going to have the influence of international football. Football, what is called internationally, what is called soccer within the United States of America, that I will tell you that what is going on in this, and what is going on with all this, the ideas of some certain baseball fans, that there's going to be an idea that there's the only way to save baseball is to make soccer illegal in the United States of America, to save baseball. To save baseball, to don't lose their fan base, is to make soccer illegal in the United States of America. And there is one reason why some people think of this. And they think of that is because of jealousy, is because of people losing the audience and attendance in baseball games, all right? It is not that. The younger demographics are getting into the sport of soccer. And then this is the next thing is about what is international football. What is the influence of international football, known as soccer, within the United States and Canada, is that it could even have Elon Musk have an idea to move to Japan and start his own league. They call it the Super J League, and then the same thing that was going to happen with American football, with the NFL, it's going to happen with the Japan League Baseball going to number 2 in Japan, right? So and that's where I'm going to tell where this go. By 2026, as you know, 2026, FIFA World Cup is going to happen. American football fans, get ready to get something that is as big as the Olympics, but way bigger than the Super Bowl. All right, so this is just focus on one sport, the sport of international football, known as the sport of soccer within North America, US and Canada, and certain regions, if when they want to call the sport soccer, right? It's gonna be with 48 teams and stuff, all right? And what's going on with this craze that certain teams will move on from Asia, and even basketball crazed countries would check out their team at the World Cup, and more exciting to see those fans. And probably we might see a boxer at the World Cup, all right, in 2026, you know, and that might be Manny Pacquiao right there at the FIFA World Cup, seeing his country playing, adding the 48 countries in the World Cup held in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. Mexico is just another soccer crazed country. That's it. Case closed. But then we're talking about Canada. Gonna have hockey as the number 2 sport. NHL's market will be going to Canada pretty soon. As to say all this, whoever gonna win the World Cup, that means whichever country it is, it will lead to Elon Musk showing up at the World Cup. Maybe he will see a baseball crazed country like Japan winning a World Cup, and the idea of Elon Musk moving to Japan to start a soccer league, a football league, all right, to call it the Super J League. He form it, invest his money. He would bring the sport over there, like just like the MLS, but the right thing, because in Japan they're ready for it, and I bet that the number 2 sport in Japan will become the number 1 sport in Japan, and the number 1 sport in Japan will become the number 2 sport in Japan. That is baseball. Baseball's the number 1 in Japan. Hey, look, America's pastime. Look at that. Look what the MLB should do. They should, if I could say, let's compare apple with oranges, all right? And the comparison of the MLS to say this. And after the World Cup has done, MLS will stride to become the number 2 sports league in North America, behind the NFL. The same will happen with Japan. But in this case, if it's the United States, when it's number 2, it's going to be American football as the number 1 sport. The NFL is still going to be the top dog, it's still going to be a strong contender, and it's still going to be American football ain't going away. It's still going to hold a strong spot because this is the fabric of American culture. It has replaces baseball for certainly out of the last couple of years after all. But after the 2026 World Cup and after all this, the NFL will slip in the number 2 spot, and it gonna shows the world American football still be a really strong sport in America. It's still gonna be strong, but it's going to stay in number 2. MLS, on the other hand, that means that the MLS Cup will be more popular. I mean, the MLS Cup final will be more popular than the NFL. I mean, than the Super Bowl. NFL has the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl, it might have more teams. And I gotta tell you what, even with the NFL have 40 plus teams, it's still not gonna hold a candle next to the MLS, because the NFL will slip to the number 2 spot in the United States of America and in North America in general. And there, my friends, I'm going to show you this to baseball fans, man. Just like the NFL has promoted football games, American football games, in London, England. They went to Germany and hold an American football game in Germany. It's not the same effect that if the MLB will do the same with the rise of MLS. That means that you want to compare this, an exhibition or a regular season game outside the United States from Major League Baseball. For example, let me do this. A regular season game played in New York in New York at Yankee Stadium or Fenway Park is going to draw some crowds. And let me tell you this reason, all right? Held in the United States, either Yankee Stadium or Fenway Park, New York Yankees against the Red Sox. And you have the New York FC and a Boston FC or some New England FC or some soccer team, MLS team from Boston. You have either Yankee Stadium or Fenway Park. The audience of that baseball game is gonna be filled with empty seats with just few people, just you and your friend, you and your significant other at the baseball game, either at Yankee Stadium or Fenway Park, versus two MLS teams where the stadium where they play is jam-packed, versus Fenway Park or Yankee Stadium with just a few people and the rest of the seats being empty, right? That's how it goes, right? And what about in Japan? If the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox play a game, just like the NFL has done, playing games outside the U.S., holding the Yankees and Red Sox playing in Tokyo, Japan. Well, let me guess about this. There are going to be more people at the game held outside the U.S., an MLB game held outside the U.S., held in Tokyo, Japan, versus less crowded people at a New York Yankees versus Boston Red Sox game being held either at Yankee Stadium or Fenway Park, but more people at an MLS game held in the United States against a New York soccer team, MLS team, versus a Boston MLS team is going to be jam-packed, while the U.S. held New York Yankees versus Red Sox within Yankee Stadium or Fenway Park. It's going to be empty and just few people in the baseball game, and the rest of the seats are empty. That's how it's going to be, versus an MLB game held outside the U.S. in Japan, having more people in that baseball game compared to the less people that if the game was held at Yankee Stadium or Fenway Park. That's how it goes, right? So, to all you folks out there, support the sport you want to support. Go to a soccer game, go to an NFL game. International football, known as soccer, is getting big, and one of these days the MLS Cup final will be bigger than the Super Bowl. More people going to the MLS Final Cup game versus the Super Bowl. American football is going to be still strong in the United States, but it's going to be number 2 in just a couple of years. So, goodbye, peace out. Please subscribe to the Embargo Man channel. Get ready for 2026. Get ready to go to, I would say, empty World Series games during the FIFA World Cup, where nobody shows up, or it's gonna be only you or you and a friend and a few people attending the World Series where everybody else at a stadium jam-packed at World Cup games, including the World Cup final. Please subscribe, hit the bell button for the next video. Goodbye.